Cobra Kai Kid.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
Boom!
Oh,
Bonsai! You're the Cobra Kai Kid.
how are you? Oh my god. I was like, who is that? Oh my god.
What is it like to be, a celebrity fan of, because that's, of Cobra Kai? What do you think about this? Do you think it's deserved? Do you think that you've earned your 200 and whatever thousand subscribers? Or do you think it's just a fluke? What do you think?
Well, I started this about 3 years ago, just as a fan of the show.
Yes.
So I've been I was on YouTube before trying to put out videos, trying to get views.
And how many subscribers did you have before Cobra Kai?
100.
100 subscribers?
It was a different channel. But
you actually had 100 subscribers to something.
I did.
Prior to. So you had some success.
Yeah, some success. I mean, now I think it's...
1/200,000th of the success that you have now. But yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and so I made this channel. I made the Cobra Kai channel just to talk about the show. I had no one to talk about it with.
Why not?
Because nobody watched it. It was on.
Why?
It was on YouTube
What are you
Red.
talking about? YouTube Red was everybody watched YouTube Red. You had it. I had it.
Nobody. I only knew what it was because I was doing YouTube.
I think everybody had it, and nobody wanted to admit that they were paying for it. Okay, I think it was very popular, and it wasn't until Netflix came out that people actually felt comfortable coming out and saying, "I know what this show is." No, I know. That was, so you started in 2019.
2019.
So that was season 2. Season 2 had just come out.
Season 2 had just come out.
Miguel was injured.
Miguel wasn't. That was the big thing.
Yes.
That was the
What
big.
was gonna happen?
Is he gonna die? Is Ali gonna save him?
I know, right?
What was that period like? Because that was a 2-year, 1.5-year period of like the fans, I think, were going crazy. I mean, I know I was going a little crazy.
Well, we knew what was happening. We shot the 3rd season already. That was the crazy thing. It's like we were sitting on, like, people were wondering what was going to happen to Miguel for like a long period of time, and I'm just like, Eagle Fang is coming.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's happening there. So it's it was a crazy period of time. Like, it was in limbo. The show was in limbo. I had faith that it would end up, coming back and people would see everything because we shot a full season. So, but it worked out really well.
A question I've always been meaning to ask you. This is a big one.
Yes.
I'm very excited to hear how you answer this. If Thomasine Griffith said no.
There was no way. There was no way.
But what if? Because you started the series right before asking him.
There was no way. Everybody, even the people. Listen. It's just we were put on this earth to bring Zapka to back into people's, the public consciousness, and that was also just a springboard for Thomasine Griffith. So it was always going to be. It was meant to be. It's like saying, like, what if something that happened didn't happen? Well, I don't know what to say. It did happen. It was always going to happen. I mean, why would he have said no? Why would he have said no?
Did you have a plan B, like, in case the worst?
There's no plan B. There was no plan B. Plan A was, we're bringing this show back. We knew that we couldn't bring Terry Silver back in season 1 because it would just be, we had to earn, like, Terry Silver to come back. So the first 3 seasons were very, one of the lessons that Miyagi teaches is patience. And for us, it was a lot of patience building this little pyramid so that at the end we could bring Thomas back. And we knew from the beginning. And knew that he was going to be great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, once he came back, and we got to know him, we learned skills that he has that we then incorporated into the show. Yeah, so playing the piano. I'm like, okay, I didn't know he played the piano. I'm like, but now Terry Silver knows how to play the piano because he seemed like the type of guy who was cultured and all that stuff. So it's been a joy. one of the best parts of Cobra Kai is bringing Thomas Ian Griffith back. And I'm so excited for season 5. I'm so excited because it's just a long time coming. It's a long time. I've been like watching these clips on YouTube from Karate Kid 3 for years, way before you were even born, and just thinking about, well, what if they won? You know, there's that one YouTuber who's always has the what ifs. You know what I'm saying? So there's always like, you know, what if Robby didn't do this or whatever. So I'm always like intrigued by all that stuff, and I'm always like, well, what if Barnes had won and Cobra Kai had taken over, and what would have happened?
Season 5, right?
You will no, because that would have been old Terry Silver that would have taken over. This is a Terry Silver that is experienced enough that saw what happened in Karate Kid 3 like we all did. And so this is like a second chance for Terry Silver. So he's not going to do silly things like give a point, take a point. You know, he's not. This is about utter dominance and just guaranteeing victory. Like I was always like, well, here he is in season 4. He had the tournament. He needed to guarantee that victory. How do you guarantee victory? Number one, you push your students to the limit. It wasn't like, oh, we're just going to cheat. Because who knows if the ref is going to be on your side or not, or cave at the end. So he had the cheating thing, but he wasn't going to rely on that even. He pushed the students so that they could be the best, and he bribed the refs. I mean, it was he wants to win, and he knows how to win. He's smart, and he's experienced. So that's what's exciting. That, you know, like, he's not gonna. There's no way he's going to lose, like on his own, and so that's why, you know, it's exciting because you're like, well, then what's gonna happen? You know, well, we'll see.
Yeah. For you.
Speaking of that first episode, we're at this little Karate Kid musical event, and I see it looks like there's like tofu skewers at this thing. It feels like we're at an original Terry party.
Please thank. Who wrote that line? Please thank. No, but please thank Cheyenne for the tofu.
Please thank Cheyenne for the tofu.
Do you know who came up with that?
We talked about that. I forget. I just know that we just talked about how that line is this. It's like if you know the characters and you know the backstory and you know everything, it's just a little knife in the dagger in the heart, you know, of like, oh, enjoy your little tofu party. I'm gonna go out back into my karate war.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I messaged you about this when I first saw the season, but I want to ask you officially. Season 4, episode 7. Anthony LaRusso says, "Don't worry about this Cobra Kai kid." I lost my cool. Like, was that? Did you like?
That's not a question, Drew. See, this is the Cobra Kai Kid's journalistic skills here. Let me guess what you're saying.
Did you?
When Anthony says, you know, don't worry about this Cobra Kai Kid in episode 7. Well, here's the thing. It was you write these things. It's not like we're like going out and be like, you know what, I want to make Cobra Kai Kid happy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just you write things and you're just like, that's actually what he would say in that moment. You know, it's like, don't worry about. He wouldn't say like, don't worry about Kenny.
Yeah. Don't worry about this guy.
Don't worry about this guy in Cobra Kai. No, it's a kid. Don't worry about this kid in Cobra Kai. So we're like, don't worry about this Cobra Kai kid. And we're like, we knew, I think, when that line was written, I forget who wrote it, who did whatever. I do remember being like, oh, like, you know, Cobra Kai Kid is going to go crazy when he sees this. So there was thought that, you know, behind it of like knowing that you were going to react the way that you did. And it worked.
Yeah, you saw the reaction. I emailed you.
I forget the reaction, but I know that in the moment, that must have been a fun thing.
It was amazing.
And listen, you hear I'm talking about the YouTuber who has all the what ifs.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a blessing that this was on YouTube at the beginning, because we have a huge YouTube fan community as a result of that. Like I don't know. I don't watch Stranger Things. I don't know. Like, is there the Stranger Things kid? I don't know.
I don't see that. I don't really see that with that.
But I see a lot of people, and some of it was like around the time that you did it, and then there's other people, I think, since you've done it, that are creating their own YouTube channels. I'm excited. I like, I follow them all. There's a lot of people that have thousands of followers now. And everybody's got their different angle. Some are like Ken Cole is the Terry Silver guy, and so I love the community, the YouTube Cobra Kai fan community. I'm like, you know what? It's special. It's great that this started on YouTube, and let's keep that going. Let's make it where, that's one of the special things about Cobra Kai is that we got a bunch of YouTubers that, and you've been really good about incorporating them. And I've been telling you this from the beginning that it's good, fan the flame of the community, because it's everybody benefits.
I know how I feel like talking to you and the cast of Cobra Kai, so I try and make my platform you asked me what's it like being a fan, but also kind of the public figure in a way. I mean, at that Live and Badass event, people were coming up to me just like I was an actor.
That's a big deal. It's the Cobra Kai Kid.
I'm really touched by it. I don't take it whatever.
You haven't let it get to your head yet.
I never.
You're not in the downfall period. You're not riding on on the success. You're not just spending each day you're not full of yourself. You're still the fan, right?
I'll always be a fan first, and I kind of view it I know you guys create the show for yourselves because you're fans. It's you're banking what you want to see, which other people want to see. That's kind of what I try and do, make videos that I want to see. I know other people. I have to tease you on a project that I'm working on that I think you guys will really love. Gene, Cobra Kai fandom.
Oh yes.
So
Cobra Kai fandom.
Cobra Kai fandom. So I've been working with him. Get ready.
An animated. He animates me.
He animated you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listen. I'm another YouTube fan that was there from the YouTube days. Cobra Kai fandom. Huge fan of him. Obviously, Cobra Kai Companion, the podcast. I mean, there's also just podcasts out there that for the Cobra Kai site Cobra Kai that are. It's just so fun. It's so fun. It's fun because I swear to God, there's a period of time before Cobra Kai that I contemplated doing just a Karate Kid podcast. I was like,
really?
You know what? Maybe we'll do that. Because I had so much thoughts about the Karate Kid. I still think about doing it. Yeah, just a podcast that's all centered, break it up into categories the economics of Reseda and Encino, the cultural stuff, that goes on with, Okinawa and this Italian kid. There's so many different angles, and I'm so obsessed with it. I think there's so many things about life that you can find in the Karate Kid. That's why we're here tonight, and there's a musical. It's just this classic. And I've been obsessed with the Karate Kid so long. I'm glad I did the show instead of the podcast.
Yeah.
It's definitely an awesome thing. But now I see all these podcasts about the show, and it's I know what it is. I know it. We're all the same, addicted to the same drug.
Yeah.
Which is basically, underdogs getting power to beat bullies.
Yeah.
That is exciting. And bullies, underdogs, all that, the power of karate, it's just amazing.
Yeah. New character for season 5 was just announced, Kim Da-eun, right? Anything you could say on that, on the new character?
I would say that I can't confirm anything. If she is related to the original Master Kim, that's not good for Daniel and Johnny and for a lot of things, because Master Kim is basically the anti-Miyagi. He is, that level of legend, but on a kind of dark side level. So if she has any relation, that just is not a good thing for the nerds of the Valley. I say this about season 5. You would think it's bad to be a nerd in the Valley right now, because of unless you join the dark side. And it could be a good time to be a nerd, but like it's time. You have to join Silver and Silver's Cobra Kai right now, or deal with the consequences, and yeah. So we'll see what happens with Kim Da-yoon, and we'll learn more when the show comes out and as more things come out. I can't confirm anything new.
Okay. I wanted to share a theory with you that I have. I know you can't say anything, but I just want to like mark it right now. Just see if that's okay.
You can judge my body language. I'm like, oh no, you figured it out.
So I have a theory on how the show will end. Is it cool if I share it? I know you can't say anything.
Yes.
All right. So my theory, just based on where everything's going, I think Johnny and Carmen are going to get married. I feel like that's how they're going to end. I think that's how the whole show will end. And I feel like it will be like a perfect opportunity to bring everyone together. Sort of like, I've seen TV shows like the finale, you bring everyone together. And then I also have another theory that with John Kreese heading towards a redemption arc, from my perspective, I think he's going to sacrifice himself to save Daniel or Johnny in like a big heroic moment, like kind of like a Darth Vader, like sacrificing his life.
Listen, now that you've said this, it's definitely not going to be those things. So if it was, those cards are off the board. Okay, so you may have just altered.
Sorry.
Nah, I will say this. I'll say this. We think about where people would think it's going to end. And we also think about where we want it to end. Sometimes it's like the two merge, and other times it's like, you know what, can we subvert it? Can we do something different? I think that there's been times on the show where people have predictions of things, and then it's like they happen, but they don't happen at the end of the series. It happens as a stepping stone along the way. Like some people may have said, like, Johnny and Daniel coming together is the end of our series. And, for us, it was like, no, and I would say it's less Kreese's redemption that we're concerned about than Johnny's, Anyway, I'm just saying in terms of where the show goes and where we want to take it, it's really about where we want the characters to end up. Whether or not there's a wedding or redemptions or Kreese doing something, we'll see. But like it may happen, may not happen, because we know, like, if it's that, we don't want things to be predictable.
Yeah.
But we also want things to be enjoyable. Like, it won't be sometimes like the most unpredictable ending. It's like you wouldn't predict we ended it in a crappy way.
Yeah.
And it's unpredictable, but it's crappy. No, you want it to be really good, and you want it to be true. And there's things that we've talked about the whole way through, but then you change your mind along the way. So now that you've said this, it's all true.
It's not gonna happen. But I've always said though that because you guys brought this back, like this Karate Kid ended the happy ending. Daniel wins the tournament. Johnny, in a way, said good match over, so it kind of ended happy. But you guys reopened it. I feel like my thing is like, if you're reopening it, I think this is like a second chance to really end the series with everybody. Now we're good. We don't like it's put a none of this.
I'll be honest. As the show goes on and we've had more success and there's all this fandom, like we don't want it to end.
No, don't.
Now, so I know that it's like, well, people don't want things to drag out. I don't want things to drag out. Yeah. I'm just enjoying. I love the Karate Kid. I love Cobra Kai. I love these characters, and I don't believe in life that there's just a happy ending at age 18 or at age 50, whatever. I think that life finds a way of throwing new curveballs in, and it's about picking and choosing your moment to end. I think they chose the moment at the end of Karate Kid, which was a happy ending for Daniel. But I always said, like, you never saw the next day. Yeah, Johnny gave the trophy, but like, what happened the next day? How does he feeling? In school the next day, seeing like Daniel and Ali walking arm in arm down the hallway. I don't think he liked that. I don't think it was like. I think that there's a little bit of bitterness there. Like he had to suck it up. I think he did suck it up, but he bottled it up. And then you see years later, he's been bottling, and then he opens it in episode 1, and all hell breaks loose. So, the cycle repeats itself.
History.
history repeats itself, as Joe Esposito once said. So we'll see. Anything is possible.
Yeah, and just something that really fascinates me. Like I always was curious about this. As like a writer and a creator, when you're creating this show, there's a lot of like history involved. The Okinawa history, Kreese's military. So there's a lot of like facts that you got to get right. So when there's things that you're writing that you don't know, maybe some like Okinawan text or some like history, like what's that process? You go on Google? Do you talk to someone?
We both. Everything. We talk to people who are experts. We go on Google. We have been talking to Robert Kamen since season 2, before each season, about some of the karate stuff. So, and I'll tell you this. In season 5, there's a climactic moment in the season that we talked about with Robert beforehand, that he gave some advice on, that we incorporated, and it's one of my favorite things in the season. So, he's a student of Goju-Ryu karate. He is, he was the student of the real Choja Miyagi's students. So anything that's like karate related, we usually talk to him about. And then, sometimes it's as simple as going online and Googling and Wikipedia and all that. And then other times, you have writers who have different backgrounds that help you out, or you seek out people with different backgrounds, or stunt performers, or stunt coordinators, I should say. So that's it.
I just find it like the dialogue. Some of the dialogue, if it's like if you don't know the topic, I just find that interesting. How
do
you
research? You know what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You maybe don't know the words.
Yeah.
So I don't know Tang Sudo, but I learned it. I learned that was something that was a big thing in the Korean War. That people like Chuck Norris and Pat Johnson, who was the referee in the original Karate Kid, they learned their style of martial arts, Tang Sudo, during the Korean War. And Robert, Kamen told us a little bit about that, how it's linear, how it's just like you come right at you, and whereas Goju-Ryu is more circular. Yeah. So we've incorporated that on the show, and we've incorporated that, in terms of like, obviously Master Kim existed before, Cobra Kai, but thinking about, like, sometimes you have to develop these rich backstories, even if you're not going to delve into it that much. You want to feel like there's some sort of truth. It's based on something that people in the martial arts community can be like, oh yeah, that is something that, where there's realism there.
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate this so much.
Sure.
I could talk to you for hours. I'm sure you know that.
I know.
You're awesome.
I
I really appreciate this.
Yes.
Enjoy the tofu.
Okay,
Thanks, Cheyenne, for the tofu.
I will thank Cheyenne.